A parent scrolling a phone at a dinner table. A kid building blocks alone on the floor. Everyone thinks connection is about hours, but 15 child-led minutes daily builds more connection than 8 rushed hours. Most parents carry a quiet guilt. They never feel they have enough hours, so they chase more time and feel like they are failing anyway. Here is the relief and the risk. Hours are the wrong currency. Chasing them wastes effort. The right currency is attention, and attention fits any schedule. Start with the number nobody expects. A 2015 University of Toronto study looked at how much time mothers spent with kids under 12. The findings surprised a lot of people. The sheer amount of time had little measurable effect on the child's behavior, their emotions, or their grades. Sit with that for a second. More hours logged did not move the needle. So why do we treat hours as the scorecard? Because hours are easy to count and easy to feel guilty about. But the study did not say time is worthless. It honored one clear exception. Engaged present time still mattered. The difference was not the clock. It was whether the parent was actually there, tuned in, responding. A distracted 8 hours and an attentive 20 minutes are not the same thing, even though the clock says one is longer. That raises the obvious question. If not hours, then what is the lever that actually builds the bond? Here is the lever. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child describes something they call serve and return. Picture a tennis rally, but with attention instead of a ball. The child does something. A sound, a look, a question, a toy held up. That is the serve. Then the adult responds to that exact thing, warmly and right away. That is the return. According to Harvard, these small back-and-forth exchanges are foundational to how a child's brain develops. Notice what is not on that list. Duration is not on it. The bond is built in the exchange itself, not in the hours around it. A child serves. You return. You serve back. That loop, repeated, is the actual mechanism of connection. Ask yourself this. When your kid last showed you something, did you return the serve or did you nod at your phone? That is the whole game. But knowing the mechanism is not the same as having a way to practice it on purpose. So here is the flagship way people practice it. It is called special time, and it comes out of a method therapists use with families called parent-child interaction therapy. The rule is almost stubbornly simple. 10 intentional minutes a day, one-on-one, where the child leads and you follow. Let me make it concrete. The child picks the activity, whatever it is. No phone in the room. No correcting. No sneaking in a lesson. No agenda of your own. Your only job is to watch and narrate. You describe what they are doing and respond to what they show you. If they build a tower, you say, you are stacking the red one on top. That is it. Read that back and you will notice something. Special time is just serve and return with a timer on it. Here is the honest catch. Parents say it is far harder than it sounds. The struggle is biting your tongue, not directing, not questioning, not fixing. And with several kids in a packed week, carving out that solo block is its own battle. One concrete first step tonight is 10 quiet minutes on the floor. But one-on-one play is not the only place this happens. The second high-leverage practice happens at the table. Screen-free shared meals. And this one has some weight behind it. Research from CASA at Columbia links families who rarely eat together to sharply higher risk of teen substance use. Notice the direction there. Fewer shared meals lined up with more risk. The meal itself becomes a low-cost, repeatable ritual where serve and return just happens naturally, over food, without anyone forcing it. The American Academy of Pediatrics puts structure around this. They suggest picking specific screen-free zones. The dinner table is one. Homework time is another. The last stretch before bed is a third. Phones off in those windows on purpose. Here is the trade-off stated plainly. Consistent family meals clash with work shifts, sports schedules, and older kids who want their independence. And this is a correlation in the data, not a promise. One shared dinner does not repair a strained relationship. A realistic first step is one screen-free meal this week, not 7. But the moment you say screen-free, someone in the room objects because screens are not going anywhere. So let us handle that objection head-on. Screens exist. They are not going away, and pretending otherwise sets you up to fail. The organization behind a lot of this guidance saw the same thing. In February 2026, the American Academy of Pediatrics shifted its stance. For years, the message was mostly about strict time limits, counting the minutes. The new guidance moves away from the clock. Instead, it asks how families use media together. 2 tools carry that idea. The first is co-viewing. That just means watching or gaming alongside your kid, instead of handing them a device and leaving. You are in the room reacting, which turns screen time into shared time. The second is a family media plan, which is a simple agreement about what you watch and when. And notice what the AAP pointed to as protective in that same shift. Shared meals again. The trade-off is real though. Co-viewing still means setting limits, and it does not replace off-screen play. A screen in common is better than a screen alone, but it is not a substitute for the floor and the table. Now the whole thing clicks. 15 child-led minutes beating 8 rushed hours was never really about the minutes. It is about currency. Hours are the currency you cannot always spend. Attention is the currency you always can. And every practice here is just a way to spend attention on purpose. Special time is serve and return with a timer. The screen-free meal is serve and return over food. Co-viewing is serve and return in front of a screen you would have used anyway. So here is the starter plan, small enough to actually do. Pick one 10-minute child-led block today. Add one screen-free meal this week. That is it. Not 8 hours you do not have. Not a schedule overhaul. 15 focused minutes spent as attention is a budget any shift, any job, and any number of kids can eventually fit. The clock was never the problem. Here is the one idea to carry out the door. Stop measuring your parenting in hours logged and start measuring it in serves you returned. A serve is any bid your kid makes for your attention. Returning it right then, with your eyes off the screen, is the entire bond in one move. You cannot always add hours to your week, but almost anyone can catch a few more serves in the hours they already have. That is the lever, and it is the same lever whether your kid is 3 or 13. One 10-minute block today, one screen-free meal this week. That is the promise, and it is small on purpose. Next up, we build the full family media plan the AAP keeps pointing to, step by step. Subscribe and we will walk through it together. None of this is medical or professional advice.